can not be good. Because Fuego just dropped, bro. So welcome back.
Tell me what you want, what you want, what you want. Give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Plug Talk with Fuego, hosted by yours truly, Fuego. And yeah, I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are doing great. But I know you see the setup and you're thinking, hey, it's gonna be a dope episode. It's because it is gonna be a dope episode, you know? This episode is solely going to be focused on entertainment, just like how the podcast is now solely focusing on entertainment and everything entertainment wise. Movies, series, you name it. That's all we're talking about. That's all I'm going to be talking about. But I will also be talking about other events in the world that are happening, like in the sports world or in, the gaming industry as well, because I'm a huge gamer myself as well. So, but in this episode, it's strictly going to be entertainment wise because there are a few things that have been happening and a lot of controversy around these certain topics that I'm going to be talking about. And let's get straight into it. Let me just jump straight right into it. And the first thing, or the major thing, the huge thing that I want to talk about today is the Cinderella movie. And basically, because Disney but Disney shouldn't be trying to change the concept of the movies and series that we grew up watching. They should rather create a whole new story, right? Instead of taking something that we've watched as kids, something that we loved as kids, and then going and changing it and turning it into something that it wasn't originally. That for me is a very bad move and it's not going to sit well with the community. It hasn't sat well with the community since the movies have come out and since they've been announcing these new movies and the new takes on these movies as they've been saying. So basically with Cinderella, if Disney wants to cater to feminists, since this was the whole goal, to cater to feminists and to basically empower young women. But if they want to do that, there's many other ways to do that. The whole concept of this movie is that Cinderella is abused by everybody closer to her, but is then rewarded with a handsome prince who then gives her glass shoes. That was the concept of the first original Cinderella movie. The movie that we've all grown to love and the movie that we grew up watching too, and the previous generation before us grew up watching, and they loved it as well. And it became a classic, and it became such a good story that it was put into children's books, story time, where they'd read that to you when you were going to sleep. I remember I had a very thick book that was filled with story that was given to me, that was handed down to me by my older sister. So in that book, there were stories like Cinderella, like Peter Pan, like other stories, and as a child, you fall in love with it because of the lessons that it teaches you. If you strip that away from the movie, what's left? You're just trying to cater to a different community and to a different, uh, I don't know what to say, walk of life, and then you're neglecting the past and you're neglecting the people who actually grew up watching that. And that's not going to sit well with them or with anybody for that matter of fact. And you're ruining a good story. You're ruining something that kids just grew up loving and watching. They're not going to watch that anymore. They're not going to want to watch it anymore, right? So this new Cinderella movie hit theaters on March 13th, and it's been described as way more aggressive than the original. Like the new Cinderella has been described as a soporific. Basically, she's too asleep or dead. Like the character is not alive. Not like the original Cinderella. She just doesn't give any life to it, right? And is much more of a doormat than the original, which means she's basically walked on by her stepmother and her stepsisters and by everybody else, and basically does nothing about it. And that's not what the original Cinderella did or was like or did. And many are blaming the actor who played Cinderella, Lily James, saying that she plays a beautiful saint who basically does nothing and brings nothing to the character. I mean, you could say that. it does sound a bit harsh, but if you watch the movie, you will see that the people are right. She brings no value to the character. She brings nothing new to the character. They talked so much about it and so much saying that we're going to change it. We're going to change how you respect. You're going to respect women after this. And they did nothing to that. They just hyped it up and didn't deliver a single thing to that, which frustrates a lot of people and angers a lot of people, especially the critics, because the critics were expecting them to do so. They didn't deliver on that, right? And others are blaming the screenwriter Chris Waltz, who failed to give the character personality, which is why they describe Cinderella as asleep and dead. And you can, I say that there is a right to blame the screenwriter, because why didn't the screenwriter basically give more depth to the character and make the character more alive and change the character in a way that kids of today or viewers today would love the character even more than they did the original, right? But others are blaming this the director, Kenneth Branagh or Branagh. I don't know how to pronounce that. Sorry for my pronunciation. I'm not very good with names and surnames. But yeah, they say that the director, Kenneth, invested too much time in the over the top costumes, which is true. I mean, the costumes were a bit over the top. I mean, if you looked at it, it's like they did spend way too much time on the costumes rather than spending time on the story and the character Cinderella and basically trying to give the character more depth and making the character I don't know, deeper, if I can say, than the original. Because the original, it was deep, but they could have added more depth to the new one, but they failed to do that, right? This movie has been described as an absolute murder to the storytelling of the original. And what message does it send to the young girls of today? Certainly not a positive message. Like, if you think about it, what positive can you take from that character? Because the character just took what is there and didn't do anything about it, didn't fight back. You're not encouraging young women to be strong and to fight back when something wrong is being done to them. Rather, you're basically telling them to just sit there and maybe someone will come and help them in the end of it. That just killed the whole point of what you said you were going to do in the beginning, in my opinion. And this shouldn't have been clear. This shouldn't have been put out. Like, in all honesty, this shouldn't have been put out. The character lacked a clear goal. That was just so obvious, bro. Like, the original Cinderella had a clear goal, which was to escape the life that she was living, the very sad and abusive lifestyle that she was living with her stepmother and her stepsisters, right? And failed to deliver on the promise that was made to empower women and feminists. It took away the lessons that the original gave young girls at the time of its release. What I've been saying since the beginning of this episode. They failed to deliver on what they promised. And it's very disappointing because they hyped it up and talked it up so much. And the lead actor herself was like saying, yeah, this. But she then eventually went on to apologize. But even the apology didn't even seem genuine. A lot of people were also maddened by the fact that the people who did this didn't take it seriously, and I agree. I don't think they took this seriously. Like, there's like every fiber in my being doesn't like. I just don't think they took it seriously. They just tried way too hard to appease certain people and neglected other people, and in return came up with a very dull and very dead movie. The original Cinderella fought back against her stepmother and her stepsisters, bro. Like, if you go back and you watch that movie, you'll see that she actually did fight back. But in this one, like the original showed character and strength, like what I was saying. Like, this new one lacked character and strength, right? While the new one just stood there and let everything happen as if she knew her fairy godmother would arrive to save the day. Like, they basically just didn't change the story in any way. And that is so apparent because the new Cinderella just let everything happen because in a way, deep down, she knew that her fairy godmother is gonna come and save the day and take her away from that life and put her in her into a better life and give her a better lifestyle, which basically kills the whole point of the story, bro. I And another key thing that they changed that I want to touch on is the gender of the godmother. I feel like this was simply done to please the LGBTQI plus community and in return ruined it for others. This is all part, in my opinion, this is all part of the new Disney's agenda. Their new agenda is to just try and to basically force this whole idea onto kids that it's okay for you to be for you to be gay, for you to be lesbian. And I'm not saying it's not right. If somebody wants to do that, let them do that. They're gonna answer to God for those things. Like I'm not gonna judge them for doing that. But for you to try and force that and to bring that onto kids, that's not right. We see that in this movie and we see that in many other movies. And it's basically just like it's killing the whole thing, and parents are not going to allow their kids to go and watch that movie if because they know what their kids are going to see. They know what this is going to inspire their kids to do, and it's going to basically force their kids to change themselves, even though that's not really what they wanted to be. They're just being influenced by what they see on TV. That's not right, bro. You're not helping and empowering kids. You're just influencing them into becoming something that. And who's to blame for that? Who knows? I'm not going to point any fingers at anybody because if I do, then I'm going to be judged, I'm going to be hated, and I'm going to be said. People are going to say that, hey, this, and that, and I just don't want that. But you guys let me know in the comments what you guys think about this. I just feel like this is all part of the agenda, bro. But yeah, back to the story. There was no emotional relationship involving Cinderella. But that was the whole point of the original. Like, in my opinion, they could have at least allowed her to come closer to her stepmother in this version, since there is no prince, right? Instead, her stepmother was filled with hatred, and this made the story feel crude, heartless, and cold. And there was no warmth to the story. Besides Cinderella and her fairy godmother, they could have focused it on Cinderella and her stepmother and her stepsister, letting them come closer together and becoming a unit. And that would have been a big change from the original. Because from the original she wasn't close, she didn't repair her ties with her stepmother and her stepsister. She just moved on with her life with her new prince. And since they said they want to change the original, this could have been a big change. This is coming from somebody who's not a screenwriter, not a director. I just watch movies and I pick up certain things. Here I am giving you a plot point that you could have used in your movie. That just shows that y'all didn't take too much time to make this movie good, bro. But overall, this was not a good movie. This was not a good adaptation of the original, and it should not have been like okay to release in my opinion. They could have instead created a whole new story introducing a whole new princess like they've been doing with other stories and other movies. Instead they just took a beloved story and ruined it. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about this. You guys let me know what y'all think about it. Oh, oh. I thought that was blood, but it's not. But yeah, on to the next topic, which is the new season of Baki Hanma. So the new season, the story picks up where it left off. Baki returns from America from the prison where he basically defeated Mr. Unchained, Biscuit Oliver, and now he has his eyes set on his father and fighting and defeating his father, right? So yeah, in the last season he finally defeats Mr. Oliver, Mr. Unchained. Biscuit Oliver, he beats him. I knew that if Baki was dedicated enough and if he was, and if he actually fought to the best of his abilities, he would be able to. And we saw how he did that. And it was in a very sick way. Like, that was the dopest way that he could have beaten Mr. Unchained. In a straight up, like, slugfest, bro. Like, in the beginning they were using techniques and all of that. Then Baki was like, wait, man, if I want to prove that I'm stronger than you, I can't do that by using techniques. Rather, let's have a slugfest and prove who actually is the strongest by just straight up throwing hail marys and punching each other to see who goes down. And bro, for even Iron Michael to come out, who is like an adaptation of Mike Tyson, to come out and say, don't do it, because he was scared for his life, because Mr. Unchained is huge, bro, and he's strong as fuck, bro. So I was also like, whoa, whoa, whoa. He wants to go like straight up slugfest. I don't know if Baki was. I didn't really know if he was gonna win a slugfest. Techniques, I was like, yeah, now Baki's gonna win. But like slugfest, I had my concerns and my worries. But I was proven wrong, and Baki just fucking knocked out Mr. Unchained, bro. I was like, what? He knocked him out and broke the wall. And basically, that symbolized like him finally overcoming this huge obstacle and seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Because in that prison, there was nothing but darkness and just death. And he just finally sees the light at the end of the tunnel by defeating Mr. Unchained. And for me, that was a beautiful moment. That was an amazing moment, right? But after all of that, a new fighter is found in the ice, right? An ancient fighter from the dinosaur age who is later named Pickle. They soon discover that he used to hunt down dinosaurs for sport and food. Not that he was afraid of them, but rather this dude was out there hunting dinosaurs, bro. We're talking about T-Rexes, um, pterodactyls, so many other dinosaurs. He was just using them for sport, and he was basically feeding and eating on them, bro. So once this is discovered, the strongest fighters in the world then all hurry and run to the enclosure where Pickle is being kept to. They sneak in because they're intrigued and they want to see what kind of person he is and of course how powerful he is, right? And of course among all of these fighters was the great Yujiro Hanma, the ogre. And that scene was just so cold, bro. When Yujiro put out his fist to fist pump Pickle, and Pickle put his fist out and basically forced Yujiro to make a move on him, flipping Pickle. Pickle was just like, what the fuck just happened, bro? And Yujiro was like, damn it, man, the bastard just forced me to make a move on him. And not just everybody can force Yujiro Hanma to put a move on. That was a glimpse of how powerful and how strong Pickle was. I, for me, in the beginning, thought that maybe Piccolo wasn't powerful because, he's a caveman. I didn't think he had that much potential or fighting potential in him. But hey, man, Yujiro saw it, and I was like, okay, well, that just shows that this dude could be very powerful, right? So, with everyone only interested in Pickle, we see the scene where Baki goes to meet up with Retsu and he basically begs Retsu to teach him Kung Fu. Retsu says, no, I'm not interested in you anymore. I'm interested in Pickle. So, Baki is then left frustrated. And when all the fighters who Pickle fights are defeated, including Retsu, including, what's that guy, the karate guy's name? I forgot his name. And, Jack Hanma, they're all defeated by Pickle. So that then proved to Baki that, hey man, Pickle is really a formidable opponent and that he should actually go and fight him, right? But there's one key thing and one thing that makes Pickle different than all these other fighters. His goal is to fight sport and find a good opponent. But after he defeats them, eats his opponent, right? He ate part of Retsu's arm and ate off, not even part, like he literally ripped off Retsu's leg and was eating it. But luckily he was stopped. He then also ate the karate guy's arm and basically chewed off a part of Jack's face, bro. Like for me, that was like, whoa, that was really dark, bro. Like that was some crazy shit, bro. Oh, wait. But then, yeah, Baki eventually gets his opportunity to fight him, and the fight is very interesting, right? It starts and it's crazy. Baki just tests out in the beginning, but then at some point they're at the top of the arena and they fall, and it's a huge fall. And Baki, his body is now left, battered, and he can't really fight. He's still not 100%. So Piccolo is not really gonna attack him until Baki basically attacks him and basically makes him feel like an idiot and a child, and that angers Pickle, right? And but at some point, Baki does recover, and he eventually gains the upper hand, forcing Pickle to reveal his true form and his full power, basically showing Baki a sign of respect that you're the only guy that has pushed me to really fight at my full power and full strength. Eventually, Baki loses because we know Baki, man. He lets his cockiness and his like man, that just pisses me off. That pissed me off, bro. When Baki lost, I was like, bro, you were winning. You could have beat this guy, but you just let your why am I forgetting these words today? Making me feel like a dumb bro. But yeah, he just gets too cocky and he loses sight of the real goal, which is defeat him, and then Pickle ultimately defeats him. And but he gains a lot of knowledge and a lot of lessons from that fight. And after that, Baki then returns his focus to his father for the ultimate father-son showdown. And the showdown basically it was built up and hyped up when Baki invited his father over for supper so they could sit down and have a meal like father and son. And when his father personally invites Baki to his, to the hotel that he frequents, that's where it kicks off because Baki then basically irritates and angers Yujiro by bringing up why he killed his mother. And oof, man, like the fights, the scenes, the moments, this whole thing was just crazy because Baki just learns how powerful and strong his dad really is. But to Juju's surprise, Baki is almost on par with him and on his level. And the one scene that really caught me was when Baki teaches his father the importance of a punch, nearly bringing down Yujiro. And in that moment, Yujiro almost hit the ground. His face is literally almost on the ground, and he's like, shit. I can't even remember the last time somebody almost took me down. I was like, damn. That is my opinion, top five most coldest scenes in anime. Like that scene right there gave me chills, bro. I was like, fuck yeah, bro. Like that was just like, wow, man, that was crazy, man. But in the end, after really impressing his father and proving to be a formidable opponent, Baki loses and he basically, even though he lost, he proved to his father that out of all his sons, he's the only one who has the potential to defeat him and certainly, definitely has his blood running through his veins. And that makes Yujiro very proud and very impressed. And throughout the fight, we saw very amazing father son moments, like when Baki was on his father's shoulders touching his head, like when they sat down and they had a meal and they had a peaceful meal. Those were amazing touching moments, bro. Like this series just shows that it's not just about the brutal fights and the brutal fight scenes and killing and being strong, but also the touching moments that touch you as a person and you can relate to because how many of us have had problems with our fathers or fights or arguments with our fathers and this just touches on that, bro. And my thoughts on this season is it was amazing, bro. It just had so many great moments. And I can't wait for the new season, bro. Like, I just hope the new season comes out soon. I highly doubt it because this season took 2 years for it to come out. But yeah, hopefully the next season comes out by latest next year or even 2025. But I think it'll come out 2025, bro. That makes me sad, bro. But before we continue, let's take a quick ad break and shout out to our sponsor, Squad X Clothing. There's amazing clothes. Check it out, and you won't be disappointed by that. So, ladies and gentlemen, Squad X is a proudly South African clothing brand where you can find all types of amazing clothes. So you can simply either head to Instagram, hit them with a follow, obviously, go on to the link, you click the link, and it'll take you to their website where you will find a whole variety of different types of shirts, hoodies, sweatpants, and I mean, you gotta admit, this is cool, cool clothes and at very affordable prices as well, where you can also find all types of sizes as well, and you can pick a your own type of delivery and there's multiple ways of paying. You can pay by EFT with your credit or debit card, pay now, or pay later with MobiCred or with Ozo. So yeah, this is a very, very good clothing brand and it's very easy to support them. So please show your love and please show your support to the clothing brand. Shout out to Squad X. They are the sponsor of the podcast. Right. On to the next and new topic. The Rick and Morty season 7, the new season, right? The new season of Rick and Morty season 7 drops on October 15th, premiering on October 15th, right? on Adult Swim. It will eventually make its way to Netflix, obviously. But a lot of controversy is surrounding this because the original creator of the show and voice actor of Rick and Morty and a few other characters, Justin Roiland, will not be returning after he was accused of sexual assault and predatory behavior. So he was basically fired and he's not coming back. So that brought a lot of concerns because, I mean, there's a lot of rumors around the new voices, right? Some fans speculate that he will be replaced by AI, and the studio said that the characters he voiced will be recast. And this caused an uproar. Like I said, this caused an uproar as the voices of these characters is what made the show so special and so lovable. And a huge change in the voices, I doubt that will be welcome. Like, if there's a huge change, I doubt I'll even watch it. Maybe I will watch it just to see how the story turns out because I love the story. I just love it. It's just so interesting, so different. And I just hope that the voices are similar. They don't have to be the same. Just make it similar so that we can actually watch it without realizing that it's different. Because when you watch something and you're so used to it, because we've had 6 seasons of those voices, now you're gonna change it now. You're gonna notice it and pick it up and be like, ah, the voices are different, bro. And that's not gonna be nice, bro. But yeah, so let's talk about how season 6 ended, right? Season 6 ended with Morty realizing that Rick, that he was having adventures with in the last few episodes, was a robotic clone who was replaced by Rick, as Rick was underground the house hunting for Rick Prime. That was a huge, like, um, turning point and a huge, what's the word, man? I hate it when I think about things and I have it in my mind, and then when I do the podcast, then I just don't have those words in it. But yeah, that was just like a huge, like, shocking moment. Like, wait, that wasn't Rick? That whole last few episodes, that was a fucking clone? And it's funny because the clone, once he was revealed, he just wanted to die, bro. Like, he spent the entire time trying to die. And Morty was just like, come on, bro, you're not gonna die. I'm not gonna let you die. But yeah, with the hunt for Rick Prime, that was a teaser that the plot for season 7 will be like, they're gonna be hunting for Rick Prime. But Adult Swim teased saying that Rick and Morty are back and sounding more like themselves than ever, and it's season 7. The possibilities are endless. What's up with Jerry? Evil Summer? And will they ever go back to high school? Yeah, like, will they ever go back to high school, bro? Because, like, they're high schoolers, but they're never in school, bro. Maybe not, but let's find out. There's probably less piss than last season. Rick and Morty, 100 years, or at least until season 10. This was a huge hint at the show that it could end at after season 10. That season 10 will be the last season of the show. And I think that's reasonable, bro. 10 seasons, that's reasonable, bro. Like, as long as they answer all our questions, all our theories, oh, they can end it at season 10. I won't have a problem with them ending it at season 10 because once you have too much of something, then you grow to hate it, bro. Unless they do it right. But I feel like that's enough seasons. That's enough for me. So, yeah. If they want to end it at season 10, I'm cool with that. But yeah, overall, personally, I'm very excited for this new season and just to see what will happen in the story. Will they ever find Rick Prime? What will happen to Evil Morty? Because that was a huge cliffhanger. They just left that story and they didn't continue that. There's a lot of questions that need answers, and I hope we will get those answers. Those answers will be delivered. Hopefully, bro. Like, really, just hopefully. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. Please like this episode, subscribe with the notification bell on, leave a comment in the section, your opinions, what you think about this episode, what you think about the topics that we touched on. And yeah, just share this with your friends. Tell your friends, share this with their friends, and let the word spread about Plug Talk with Fuego, bro. And please show your love to the Willie and Fuego show as well. Fuego TOW Gaming, sorry. I just released another episode. Go check that out. That was two amazing games. I got double digit kills on both. I'm gonna be dropping some new Fuego Reacts content as well. Don't worry, I'm gonna be touching on some latest albums that are gonna be coming out, and a whole lot of other content as well. So stay tuned for that. I'm also thinking about really focusing on, I've always wanted to really just branch out into short stories. So I definitely will just start and try out, shoot, edit, and see how that goes. If I feel like that is good enough, then I will release it and see how you guys feel about that. What you guys think, and you guys will also give me your opinions on it. But that's it for me. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to announce. Signing off from Fuego, guys. Peace and love, bro. Peace.